Engine equalization. The technical regulations which came into force this season saw a massive change which forbade teams from working on their engines until 2025, with them only being able to work on the 2026 ones to align with the coming of Audi and Ford in the sport. This topic will once again be discussed at the Belgian Grand Prix due to a plead by Alpine to receive help and be allowed to work on their engines since they lag behind the rest of the grid by a decent amount. The surprising thing is that Alpine found an ally where one would least expect, but something more is at stake here. Join us as we delve deeper into this controversial topic and what would it bring to Formula One. During the 2023 season, Red Bull has outclassed its rivals, showcasing a car with unmatched performance. Winning every race so far, it currently leads the Constructors' Championship with an impressive 452 points, leaving second-place Mercedes trailing by a significant 229 points. This chasm has sent other teams scrambling to close the gap and challenge Red Bull's authority. However, potential regulatory adjustments may soon be introduced to ensure a more equitable competitive landscape in F1. According to Autosport, insider sources suggest that a future F1 Commission meeting at the Belgian Grand Prix will consider the issue of engine equalization. This was initially prompted by Alpine, who informed the FIA about their struggles with a less powerful Renault engine. Following this revelation, the FIA assessed the performance of various other power units currently in use and subsequently decided to bring it up for further discussion. Insider information from Autosport indicates that this analysis reveals that Alpine's Renault engine is between 20 to 33 HP short of its competitors. However, the current regulations, which impose a freeze on engine modifications until 2025, prevent Renault from implementing significant changes to enhance performance and decrease the gap. Current FIA rules allow only limited alterations to power units, primarily for the purpose of addressing reliability or safety concerns, implementing minor incidental changes, or achieving cost savings. However, if the data indeed indicates a performance disadvantage for Alpine, it could drive the formulation of new regulations aimed at equalizing the competition. Alpine team principal Otmar Szafnauer, although not providing specific figures, has acknowledged that the French manufacturer lags behind its competitors, which is negatively affecting its competitive prospects. In 2022, the F1 sphere witnessed a major overhaul in terms of technical specifications, with engine homologation becoming a crucial aspect of the revamped regulations. Under these new rules, teams are prohibited from modifying engines for performance enhancement and can only make alterations to ensure reliability, safety, cost-effectiveness, and minor incidental changes. Recent data from Alpine indicates that the Renault engine is significantly slower by around 25 to 33 horsepower compared to the other competitors. Although Renault hasn't yet officially responded to this disparity, in collaboration with the FIA, the upcoming Belgian event is likely to be dominated by discussions about engine equality. This idea was initially introduced in 2017 by Fernando Alonso, who expressed his desire for all F1 vehicles to have identical engines. Lewis Hamilton, however, quickly dismissed this suggestion. Nonetheless, the FIA's technical regulations have temporarily ceased engine development due to the minimal performance gap between teams at present. Excluding Alpine, one could argue that the rest of the teams are functioning as expected, with aerodynamics being the primary source of performance variation. Yet, with the FIA detecting a marked divergence in performance, there's a substantial basis for potential interventions aimed at evening the playing field. Engine equalization isn't a novel concept in the sport. It was previously implemented in 2007 to level the competition after certain manufacturers leveraged reliability adjustments to boost their performance, thereby gaining an unfair advantage. Preceding the 2022 engine freeze, it was decided that no regulations would facilitate equalization, given that performance levels were already reasonably balanced. However, if the FIA Commission acknowledges the necessity to revisit the issue of engine equality, it could introduce a whole new level of unpredictability. There's no guarantee that Renault will have unrestricted ability to make enhancements. While this topic sparks a lot of debate, one team unexpectedly siding with Alpine is Red Bull. They understand that engine equality would likely shift the competitive edge to aerodynamic design, an area in which Red Bull currently excels. Christian Horner, discussing the issue, called for pragmatism and opened up the conversation on engine equalization. He further detailed, "It is about seeing what the deficits are. The FIA have all of the data, and they should present exactly what the differences are. I think that would be fascinating for everybody to see, and I think that if there is a deficit under homologation, then it's something that we should be sensible about. Otherwise, you're locked in for 2 years. I wouldn't be averse to a sensible discussion." Evidently, barring any changes, the 2022 engine freeze will extend until 2025, potentially leaving Alpine unable to enhance their engine's performance, even with the advent of new regulations in 2026. However, Otmar Szafnauer, Alpine's team principal, attributes the power unit performance gap, despite the 2022 freeze, to teams exploiting reliability upgrades, effectively using this as a backdoor to boost performance. Szafnauer explained, "Teams can all rectify their reliability issues, and under the guise of addressing these issues, there can sometimes be hidden power upgrades. It all depends on the specific reliability issue being addressed. This presents an intricate balancing act for F1, as the FIA would need to delicately manage the situation to allow engine equality. Unfreeze the engines while also preventing Renault from excessively benefiting from this shift. If Renault is allowed to develop their power units, it is likely to be met with resistance from other teams. Nevertheless, given the current engine performance equilibrium, the potential advantage for Renault may not be as significant as feared. However, manufacturers with superior power units might suffer, an outcome the FIA is keen to prevent given their stringent regulation of this new technical era." Szafnauer appreciates finding reasonable common ground with his peers. Reflecting on Horner's comments, Alpine's team principal added, "I'm glad Christian mentioned that. The engine freeze originated when Honda was exiting and Red Bull lacked an engine department for further development. We all consented to benefit Red Bull, so it's good Christian acknowledges this. Also, at that time, there was consensus among engine manufacturers for constructive discussions to restore parity if anyone was 1% off." Undoubtedly, Alpine's season had a bitter start, compounded by their recent double DNF resulting from a collision. Any prospect of engine equalization revives hope for the team, not only for this season, but also for future ones. While Alpine made considerable performance sacrifices to modify their car to mirror the effective Red Bull model, their recent performance slump seems rooted in engine disparity. Although Alpine hasn't officially admitted to their performance shortfall or called for FIA intervention similar to 2007, the Belgian GP will likely provide clarity on this issue. The predominant apprehension in the F1 community is that Renault could mask performance upgrades as reliability improvements, thereby significantly enhancing the Renault engine's competitiveness for podium positions and even race victories. Szafnauer, however, doesn't see this as a major concern. Reflecting on this, he remarked, "When we froze the V8s in 2007, I was the one fielding requests from other teams for Honda. The requests were primarily cost-saving and reliability related. I would forward them to the relevant engineers. However, many performance upgrades can be cleverly disguised as reliability improvements. History has shown that the demands for engine equalization by less competitive teams have often been ignored, as was the case during the turbo hybrid era. Engine programs of lesser performing units like Renault have sought equalization from the governing body, a desire echoed by Alonso in 2017, but the FIA did not intervene. Alonso infamously likened McLaren's Honda engine to a GP2 one, while Mercedes deliberately dialed down their performance to avoid instigating further engine regulation changes during their most successful period. Currently, engine development is on hold until 2025, with exceptions permitted only for reliability, safety, or cost-saving enhancements and other minor alterations that offer negligible performance benefits. Yet, despite the freeze initiated in 2022, the FIA is understood to recognize the emergence of performance disparities among engine manufacturers considering these exceptions. Consequently, a conversation about possible interventions to assist Renault in catching up is imminent. F1 has previously navigated similar waters, particularly when Renault's power waned following the 2007 engine freeze, as rivals exploited the rules to make gains through retuning. Although a 2009 FIA investigation into this yielded no significant outcomes, Renault subsequently made strides with exhaust-blowing software developed for Red Bull, thereby reducing its overall power deficit. However, this issue might become a significant point of contention for 2023 and beyond. A move towards equalization could either provide a substantial advantage to a team or create a disadvantage, somewhat contradicting F1's merit-based way of functioning. Now all eyes are on the upcoming Belgian GP to see if it delivers the much-anticipated engine equalization. If it does, the onus will be on Alpine to demonstrate that podium finishes aren't beyond their reach. The French team, having lost ground to McLaren, is gradually moving into the midfield. Given their recent issues, this could be the revitalization Alpine needs. However, the key question remains, will they be able to turn this potential advantage to their favor? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and we will see you in the next one.